Chapter 2, The 39th Rebel. If you're like most of our readers, you are probably wondering how long it takes Terry and me to write a book. Well, I guess the answer to that really depends on whether it's a long book or a short book. Long books take longer to write than short books, which don't care as long to write as long books, which, as I said, take longer to write than short books, which, oh, excuse me, here's Terry. Hi, Andy, he says. What are you doing? I'm just telling the readers about how long it takes us to write a book. Did you tell them that it depends on whether it's a long book or a short book? He says. Yes, I said. And that a long book takes longer to write than a short book? Yes, I said. And did you tell them how a short book doesn't take as long to write as a long book? Yes, I say. I explained all that. Okay, there's no need to shout, says Terry. I bet there's one thing you didn't tell them, though. What's that? That this book is hardly going to take us any time at all, no matter how long or short it ended up being. How do you figure that? Well, says Terry. Ring! That's our 3D video poem. Hang on, Terry, I said. I'd better answer it. It's probably Mr. Big Nose. As you know, he always calls around the beginning of chapter 2 to remind us about the deadline for our latest book. I gesture over to the video poem and accept the call. It's Mr. Big Nose, all right. Nobody else in the world has a nose that big. What kept you? He says. Sorry, I said. I was just explaining to the readers how long it takes us to write a book. Did you tell them it depends on whether it's a short book or a long book? He shouted. Yes, sir. And how a long book takes you a longer time to write than a short book? Yes, I say. And that short books don't take as long as long books. Yes, I say. I explained all that. And did you tell them that I always call around the start of chapter 2 to remind you when the next book is due, which is this case is tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon? I said, but that's tomorrow in the afternoon. Exactly, says Mr. Big Nose, and no later than 5 o'clock or else. Before I can explain how completely and utterly and totally impossible that's going to be, Terry flies over and hovers between me and the screen. No problem, Mr. Big Nose, he says. It's all under control. It'll be on your desk by 5 o'clock tomorrow without fail. See you then. Bye. Terry hangs up. Are you out of your mind? I says. I don't think so, says Terry. Why do you ask? Because you just promised Mr. Big Nose that tomorrow we will deliver a book which we haven't even started yet because you've been too busy building your secret 39th level. But that's what I was trying to tell you, says Terry, before Mr. Big Nose called. What I've been doing on the 39th level is going to solve our book writing problems forever. Follow me and I'll show you. Terry takes off and I gesture after him towards the top of the tree. We hover outside the 39th level, which is still all borders up and covered it. Keep outside. Where, I say. What is it? Only the greatest invention that I or anyone else have ever invented, says Terry. He cuts a ribbon and the barriers fall away to the river. The greatest invention that Terry or anyone else has ever invented. Well, says Terry, what do you think? It's the greatest invention that you or anyone else have ever invented, I say. But what is it? A once upon a time machine, says Terry. A time machine, I say. Cool. So we can go back in time, write our book and meet our deadline after all. Well, no, not exactly, says Terry. It'll help us meet our deadline. Alright, but it's not a time machine. It's a once upon a time machine. It'll write illustrate the entire book for us. I can write the whole book, I say, all by itself. It sure can, says Terry. It's got two sets of hands, one pair for typing at super speed, and another pair for drawing. It can draw with both hands at the same time. Wow, I say. And we don't have to do anything. No, all we have to do is program it. We just tell it what sort of story we want and turn it on. The machine does the rest. That's brilliant, I say. How long will it take? Well, says Terry, it all depends on whether you want a long book or a short book. Long books take longer to write than short books, and shorter books take less time to write than long books. What about a 344-page book? I say. About 8 hours, says Terry. Perfect, I say. Let's turn it on and get started then. Not so fast, says Terry. What do you mean, not so fast? I say. Our deadline is tomorrow. We haven't got a moment to lose. I know, says Terry, but the thing is, I can't turn it on yet. The machine is so big and complicated with so many different parts that I used up every rest on-off switch I had. I've ordered a new one, though, and I'm expecting it to be delivered any moment. Ding dong. Uh-oh, says Terry. That's probably now. We look down. There's a postman at the front door, but not just any postman. It's Bill. Bill the postman. But that's impossible because, well, Bill is dead. Chapter 3. Bill the postman's story. Terry and I look at each other in horror. Do you see who I see? Says Terry. Yes, I say. It's Bill. But it can be, says Terry. In the last book, we saw his scatteron in the maze of dawn. Remember? The time we saw Bill's scatteron in the maze of dawn. Yes, of course I remember, I whisper, which means that it can't be beer down there. It must be a zombie. Delivery called the zombie. It sounds like beer, says Terry. That's part of its evil plan, I say. What evil plan, says Terry? To deliver our mail and then eat our brains, I say. Don't you know anything about zombies? Andy calls the zombie. Terry? Anyone home? He knows our names, says Terry. It must be Bill. Yeah, I say. Bill the zombie. Come on, you two. Chocolate. Chocolate, says the zombie. I can hear you up there. I've got a package for you. Can you leave it at the door? I say. We're kind of busy. Afraid not, says the zombie. It's a special delivery from Switcher R Us. I'm going to need you to sign for it. We need that switch, Andy, whispers Terry. Yeah, and we also need our brains. I whisper back. I'm not a zombie, you know, calls the zombie. Did you hear that, Andy? Says Terry. He says he's not a zombie. That's exactly the sort of thing a zombie would say. I tell him, we can't risk it. Alright then, calls Bill. If you won't came down, then I'm coming up. Uh-oh, I yell. It's a zombie attack. Grab the flamethrowers, Terry. What flamethrowers? The ones you were supposed to make to protect us against zombie attack. Oh, those words, says Terry. I didn't get around to it. I was too busy working on the 39th level. They won't be necessary, says Bill as he climbs onto our level. I'm not a zombie. I am very much alive. But we thought you were dead, says Harry. Bill grins. So did I when I read the 26-story treehouse and saw that picture of a scapular wearing my postman's cap. I was very sad for a while until I realized that if I was feeling sad, then I must still be alive, so it couldn't have been me in the picture after all. But if it wasn't you, says Harry, then who was it? Well, it's a bit of a long story, says Bill, and as you know, long stories take longer to tell than short stories, which, yes, we know, I say. Can you make it a short, long story? Sure, says Bill, beginning to tell his short, long story. Well, you may not know this, but a postman's life is not an easy one. We got chased by dogs, attacked by birds, and spat at by camels. Sorry, Bill. But worse than any of these things is the ever present threat of being embarrassed by the birthday card bandit. The birthday card bandit, says Harry. They sound bad. They are bad, says Bill. Better than you can imagine, and feared by postal workers throughout the land. Why, I say. What do they do that's so bad? Well, says Bill, they dig holes in the ground, covered down with sticks and leaves. and then wait for poor innocent postman like me to fall into them. Once they're caught the bunch of postmen, they take their uniforms, dress up in them, and then go through the stacks of mail and steal the money in the birthday cards. That kind grandparents have sent to their grandchildren for their birthdays. And as if that's not bad enough, they write back to the grandparents, pretending to be the child, and ask the grandparents to send more money to replace what was stolen. And when they do send more money, the birthday card, bandits steal that as well. That's terrible, says Harry. I know, says Bill, but that's not even the worst thing they do. What could they possibly do that is worse than stealing a child's birthday money? I say. I'll tell you what, says Bill. Sometimes they intercept the children's birthday party invitations as well. Then they go around to the houses where the birthday parties are being held and steal the balloons. And steal the balloons right off the front gate. And that's not all. They steal the children's party hats, party balloons, presents, and sometimes they even steal the birthday boy or girl's birthday wish by blowing out the candles on their birthday cake first. Those fiends, says Harry. Those fiendish friends, I say. But how does all this explain what that fake postman was doing in the maze of them in your uniform? Well, says Bill, like many postmen, I too was captured by the birthday card bandit. They stole my uniform and tied me up. I guess the bandit who was wearing my uniform must have gone into the maze of them to hide from the police and, of course, couldn't find his way out again. If only he'd taken those very signs seriously. Well, I'm glad it wasn't you in the maze of them, I say. Me too, says Harry, and I'm going to add another sign to the entrance so there's no chance of that ever happening again. Chapter 4, The Once Upon a Time Machine. After Bill leaves, Harry opens the package and installs the switch. Okay, he says, the Once Upon a Time Machine is ready to write our book for us. All we have to do now is decide what sort of book we want it to write. A fun one, I say. Good idea, Sally. Good idea, says Harry. But exactly how funny would you like it? But exactly how funny would you like it? So funny, I say, that if you were reading it and drinking a glass of milk at the same time, you would laugh so hard that you would snort milk out of your nose. No problem, says Harry. I'll just set the funny dial to milk story things funny, and the machine will take care of the rest. Cool, I say. This is going to be the easiest book we've ever written. You mean the easiest book you've never written, says Harry. What else would you write in it? Lots of action, I say. One action-packed book coming up, says Harry, turning the action dial as far to the right as possible. What about character, says Harry. I guess we want all the regular, I say, like you, me and Jill, and also a few new ones, just to keep things interesting. You got it, says Harry. Okay, says Harry. Where would you like the story to be set? What are our choices? I say. Let me see, says Harry, reading from the setting panel. The tree house, G's house, the forest, underwater, outer space, the dark side of the moon, the first dimension, cheese land. Cheese land, I say. Yeah, says Harry. It's the land where everything is made of cheese. Can we include it, Andy? Can you, please? Alright, I say, but I don't want to spend too long there. It sounds kind of sticky. I'd like going to the house, though, and to get there we need to go through the first circuit both of those in, and outer space would be fun, and I've always wanted to go to the dark side of the moon. I think I've got all that, says Harry, flicking switches. Tree house, forest, Jill's house, Cheeseland, outer space, and the dark side of the moon. Down. Harry finished programming the settling and turning to me. How about some romance? He says. No thanks, I say. You're not really my type. Andy, says Harry, be serious. I mean, do you want some romance in the story? No way, I say. Remember how much trouble you got us into when you fell in love with mermaids in the certain story treehouse. How was I to know she would turn out to be a sea monster, he says. Her breath for sure. Start, I say. I still miss her, sighs Harry. But she tries to eat you, I say. And me from the narrow. Yeah, I know. But before that, she was really nice. Could we just have a little bit of romance, please? Alright, I say. But only a little bit. Don't worry, Andy, says Harry. You'll hardly even notice it's there. I just thought of one more thing, I say. Can we have an explosion? No problem, says Harry, setting the arrow to explosion on the gesture dial. I think we've almost got everything we need, says Harry. Is there anything else we can think of? Surprise me, I say. Okay, says Harry, giggling, you're going to love this. I'll set the hazarding to 344 and then we are almost ready to go, says Harry. Harry takes off his shoes and socks. What are you doing, I say. Before I can turn it on, I have to put my big toe in the scanner. Why, I say. Big toe recognition secretary, says Harry. If anyone tries to steal the machine and start it up with an unauthorized big toe, the machine will self-destruct instantly. Harry puts his big toe into the scanner. Victor recognition commencing, says the machine. Authorized user recognized processed. We flip the on-off switch to the on position. Storytelling progress. Comment sign. The machine announces. Stand clear, please. Stand clear. How long will it take? I ask. Estimated length of novel writing process. 8 hours, says the machine. What did I tell you? Says Terry. 8 hours. We've got 8 hours to do whatever we want. Well, what are we waiting for? I say. Let's go and do whatever we want. Swing party, comic reading, marshmallow eating, lemonade drinking, chocolate waterfall, baby dinosaur hiking. We go around and around and around. Start to feel a tiny bit dizzy. I don't think I can take any more roller coastering, I say. How about we go trampoline instead? Says Sally. Great idea, I say. And so we do, which is a lot of fun here. The trunkinator climbs up and starts jumping on the trampoline with us. I don't know if you've ever bounced on a trampoline with an elephant, but if you have known, it's not easy. Not only are elephants very costly, they are also very heavy, in fact, as well as an elephant. He bounces on top of us. He bounced under us, and then double bounced us, was right off the trampoline. We fly up into the air, up over the forest and far, far away. And then we start to fall down, slowly at first, then faster and faster and faster, until we land with a huge splash in a big hot waffle of glowing, sticky, melting cheese. Where are we? I yell, trying desperately to keep my head above the surface. I think we're in Cheeseland, says Harry. I didn't realize Cheeseland was a real place, I say. Of course it is, says Harry, but it's not as much fun as I imagined. How do we get out of here? I say. I don't know. If only we have a dry biscuit or toast finger. How about the real finger? Says the familiar voice. We look up. Superfinger, says Harry. What are you doing here? Superfinger is my name, he says, and solving problems requiring finger-based solutions is my game. Climb up onto me and I'll fly you back to the treehouse as fast as I can. So we do, and